What's up, y'all? What's up? You're tuned in to Zoe Speaks. Welcome to my live. If you are seeing this for the first time, you can follow me on all social media channels at Zoe Speaks. I basically talk about sex, marriage, love, life, a lot of controversial topics. And today is definitely going to be one of them, but it's a topic that I feel very passionate about, like none other. And it's also a topic that I really just feel like is not talked about enough, is not addressed enough, and we are repeating cycles that we should not necessarily be repeating, and that is the aspect of this baby mama drama. So we're going to jump into this because this was not a planned live. I mentioned I actually made a status, and I wanted to say so much more outside of that status that I was like, you know what, and I couldn't do it live. I didn't have time to do it live. So I wanted to do this recording. So you'll see it live, but I'm recording it. But I really just wanted to speak to the hearts of baby mamas. And by baby mamas, I'm not talking to everyone that has a child with a man, whether you're married or not. I'm talking to you as a mother who feel like you have control and um, every right to dictate the child's relationship with their father based on your relationship with him. And I want to talk more so from a healing perspective because we don't talk about what it takes enough to become whole enough to co-parent healthily, right? And so the status basically said a lot of y'all don't have baby daddy issues. Y'all have men who don't want you and you can no longer control with your cat, with your emotions, with your temper tantrums or whatever. And the only leverage that you have is that child or the children. And so you use the children as a means to control or dictate or manipulate the emotions and the feelings of the man by controlling the child. And before y'all go to the whole aspect of if he wanted to see the child, you can take the child to the custody and you can go to court and this, and the other. Why should a man have to do that for his seed? Because just as people will justify, well, that's the bed that he made. Okay, woman, baby mama, this is the bed that you made. So we're going to talk about healing. Like I'm going to talk about healing because it pisses me off to see men have to fight for a position in their children's lives, and we are not holding ourselves accountable as women. It pisses me off that I see baby mamas against baby mamas or baby mamas against the next woman in this man's life. When that literally has nothing to do with you if you're not adding to the equation of building a family together. You see what I'm saying? Like we don't have the white picket fences with the two kids, the mama and daddy, and the dog, and a lot of our families, copper tone people, our families are not in that dynamic. We know that. But the question is, when are we going to start building homes? When are we going to start building homes that are healthy, that our children can actually live in on both sides? I was with well, I'm not even gonna say that. I've seen dynamics outside of my spiritual stances, outside of my religious beliefs, outside of my logical thinking. I've seen all types of dynamics. I'm seeing all types of dynamics work out where mothers and fathers can build healthy homes and not be together. How? You put the child first. What does that look like? Getting through your issues. So when I say I want to talk about healing, I'm going to be a little transparent about my own. See, I don't have the perfect baby daddies, if you would say, and I don't call them baby daddies, but for the sake of this live or recording, but I do have one I have men that have stepped up in my children's lives that are not biologically connected. We want to talk about hurt. I can transparently and honestly say right now, I'm this close to just asking one of the fathers to give up his rights and just move and stay away forever. I'm being honest. But you don't see me bashing him all over social media. I'm not cussing him up a storm. I'm not doing. Why? Because I made that bed. And even now, years later, I'm still having to realize that the best I can do, if she wants a relationship with him, not stand in the way. You know why? Because at 6, 7 months, I had a best friend tell me, don't get in between her and her relationship with her dad. At 8 months. And that conversation changed my life. That conversation changed my daughter's life. Now I can look at it and say, see, I should have kept him from her. Nana. No, no. That wasn't my place. And my friend knew that. So what I do is I take accountability of the position that I put my child in when I opened my legs to her father. From there, I made sure that any man that was introduced in her life stayed. And I did that in between marriages. She has the last name of the man I was married to afterwards. And now she is being raised and being fathered by a man that loves, loves, loves. So she has twice the love that she's missing from one. I don't talk about this. I don't talk about this because I'm healed. I don't talk about this because that child loves her father. Regardless of what he does, regardless of anything, that's her blood. So when y'all get on social media or you're bashing your children's father in front of them, that's not healthy. For one, that's actually considered child abuse. Look it up. It's actually considered child abuse. And then when you go as far as to try to control the relationship between him and his children, that's interference. Even to the point of negligence, that can cause kids to have depression because what are you doing? If you are a mother, that child belongs to you, right? You are part of their identity. It's the same way for the father. Whether you as a woman want to realize that or not, that father that you hate so much is a part of that child's identity. You do nothing. And if you're a Bible believer and you claim to be in the spirit, the fifth commandment says to honor your mother and your father. So who are you that are so bold enough to teach your children to dishonor their father? It's actually the first commandment with a promise. So what are we doing? And where's the frustrating part for me is I'm seeing tribes being built, and that is wonderful. But on the other end, I'm seeing tribes, not even tribes, I'm seeing our communities constantly being torn apart with simple things that we should be done and over with, but we can't because we're not healed. I don't have to I don't have to diss, I don't have to talk about my child's father. I don't have to do any of that because once I understood that those were the consequences of my decisions, it was where do I go from here? I don't have to speak to him nasty. I don't have to deal with him. She can deal with. I don't have to be in control of when she speaks to him. I don't have to do any of that. I don't have to stand in the way. I pray and I let it go. When she lived with him, that's his household. See, a part of how you know you're not healed, how you know you're still trying to control issues. When your child is with their father, they're with their father. If they're not abusing that child physically, sexually, or verbally, or anything like that, if you have no concrete reason to try to keep that child away, and if that's the case, if that father is abusive or in an abusive or whatever if the environment is so unsafe, You need to do what you need to do as a mother to make sure that you protect her or him or them in a way that's fair. That's fair. You get to the root and you deal with the issues. If there has to be monitor supervision or whatever, I whatever. This topic is so touchy, and we don't deal with things in a way that are healthy for the parents and the children. We think a lot of times as mothers, because we're mothers, that we can completely control everything in our children's life as if we made them by themselves. Listen, what I don't understand is you criticize a man that doesn't show up, and then the men that show up, you criticize them. When he shows up, that's not your concern. When my daughter's father showed up, I hated it. I hated it because it messed up my perfect little reality. I was married again. We had family vacations. We had, well, not family vacations, but we did think, well, yeah, we had family vacations. We had family vacations, family events. We had weekends and outings and different things like that. And then taking her to him was like, oh, dang, I did do this. But I never let that hear what I just said. Taking her to him. And I would take her sometimes. He'd show up late. I would take, like, I've been through enough where I could be a bitter baby mama, really on both ends. But that's not, for one, I don't have the heart to carry the negative energy that it takes to carry, to hold grudges against anybody. For two, these are men that, whether I want to admit it or not, they're going to be in my life for the rest of my life. These are decisions that I made. I'm not throwing temper tantrums and trying to control situations because I can't get my way anymore. No, it was best for the child that the child knew her family. That was important to me. It was important to me that my child knew her father. It was important to me that my child knew her other siblings. It was important to me that she knew her family. I didn't meet my dad's family until I was 19th grade. So yes, this is a very touchy and sensitive topic for me because I can't understand how we are continually letting these cycles of toxicity happen in our communities with our children. And we say that we love them. You as a mother do not love your child if you interfere with their relationship with their father. If you have a father in this child's life or your children's life, and if there's no harm coming to those children or that child, if there is nothing on God's green earth that's so horrible, why would you be in the way? And this is what I want you to ask yourself. What is the issue? What is the issue with your baby daddy? Because here's what we as women have confused. My ex-husband, I take nothing away from him being a father. Nothing. When I say he showed up, he showed up. He was a true family man in so many senses. That was something we agreed on. We knew we wanted a family. I take nothing away from that when it comes to him being a father. As a man, whatever I feel like he did to me, and listen to those words that I said because I chose them very carefully. Whatever I feel like he did to me has nothing to do with what he does for our children. Nothing. Those are totally separate scenarios. I do not deal with him based on our past. I don't communicate with him based on our past. When we talk, it's about the children. If there's anything that I feel like he wants, or I feel like I would want him to have if I was in his shoes, I give it to him. If I don't give it to him, I make sure the children do. Whether that's pictures, videos, whatever, anything. If I miss it, it's simply because I miss it on the strength of he's not in my household. He's not my husband, so I don't have to think about him in the essence of making sure that what he needs is okay anymore. So if I miss anything, it's simply because of that. It has nothing to do with, oh, well, he should have been here. He shouldn't have destroyed his family. He should this and he should that. No, our past is our past. That man loves his kids. He loves his kids, and regardless of our foundations when it comes to education, socializing, whatever, we have so many differences between us. But when it comes to his kids, I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, well, you don't, prime example, we don't celebrate holidays anymore. He still does. When our kids are with him, I'm not running his household. If our kids are old enough at this point to verbalize that this is not what we do, and we would want you to respect. They're old enough to do that. If there are serious issues, which we barely have any, but if there are serious issues, if we can't discuss it, we just can't discuss it. If I have to handle it in-house with my husband, I handle it in-house with my husband, and we move on. And when they're there, now that's our dynamic. It doesn't have to be like that. The point is, there should be peace. The kids should be enough fuel for us to say, look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how I feel. You love these kids? Okay, well, what are we going to do? But a lot of you women are so bent on making that man pay for what he did for you, what he did to you, or what he didn't do for you. You're so bent on trying to make his finances be a indication of his commitment to his children. Do I think a man should provide for his family? Obviously. But am I going to keep my children away from their father if he doesn't send them a cent? No. And I can tell you right now, even more transparently, I don't get the child support that I should be getting. I know that. They probably know it too. Y'all don't see me all acting crazy and all this. Like, no, like the things that I focus on is the relationship between my children and their father. If it doesn't benefit the relationship between my children and their father, everything else I can work around. Full child support or a fair amount of child support, sure. But again, now you have to think in this essence, because it doesn't matter if they're in a position to do more. What if they can't be? So as a mother, my children don't lack regardless of what their fathers do. They don't like food. They don't like clothes. They don't like and they don't like any of that. And a lot of that has nothing to do with me. My faith says that my children shall not lack. So a lot of times they get blessed and it has nothing to do with me. That's the faith that I have. I don't take care of my kids. I work. My husband works. We bring in income. That income covers everything that we need for the most part. No, everything that we need, for the most part, a lot of things that we want, the lifestyle that we live. If you're comparing it to apples and oranges, we like apples. We like to live a certain type of way. We like to go and experience certain things. That's what we do. And that's the what I work for is to provide them with the lifestyle that I want to live and want them to have. That's up to me and my husband to make that happen. If their other parents don't agree, there's not their obligation. When my kids are with their father, my ex-husband, his lifestyle is his lifestyle. And whatever he wants them to experience with him is on them. It's on him. Because he shows up. He shows up. This is what y'all don't give credit for men for. And I'm sensitive about this because I didn't have a father, the stepfather I didn't have a good relationship with that. I've seen women torn. I was one of those women torn with not having a male figure in my life. And here we are not realizing that every little seed of rejection that you plant in your child from their father, that you plant. I'm not talking about daddies that don't show up. I'm talking about men that are trying to be in their children's lives and you're too hurt to let them. That's what I'm talking about. So a man that's trying to show up and then he shows up for children that ain't even yours, that ain't even his, but they're yours. So that's stuff you can't take away from me. You can't take away from my ex-husband. When he said that when he found out I was pregnant and he said, this is my family too, because this is our child's family. Whether I stayed with him or not, I knew that was family. Through divorce, through tits and tats, through whatever, that's family. If they need him, he's showing up. Why are y'all trying to keep your children from that type of love? Why? Because you didn't have it. And it's so psychotic, but it hurts at the same time. So the revelation that I had to, because I had to, it don't make sense to me. I had to go a little higher spiritually. Why would a mother who didn't have love keep her children from the love that she didn't have? Because I'm the type of mother, I want them to have it. But then I'm healed. But then you have those that are unhealed. No, I need my children to myself. I need their love. They can't love anybody else, because if they love somebody else, if they receive their father's love, they won't love me as much as I need to be loved. It's selfish. It's foolish. It's foolish. You're tearing down your house with your children. And let me tell you, the same seeds that you sow in those children against their other parent will come back on you. That little seed of rebellion towards their daddy. You don't think for a second that child is not going to put two and two together? Oh, I don't have the respect. You'll never hear any one of my children say, even the one that I don't like. And I know this is very public and I don't care about saying it because our situation is our situation. If he wanted it to be different, it would be different. I don't like it. Even the one that I don't like, I'm not going to teach my child to disrespect him. When he showed up, he showed up. When he shows up, he shows up. But no, I don't like that. I don't like it. That's not a situation for a child to be in. But I love my daughter enough to not talk about her dad all over the internet. And I'm sharing this out of the understanding of what this topic is. I understand exactly what I'm doing at this point. But why I've been silent, y'all are destroying your children by meddling in the relationships with men that want to show up and be there. Again, with men that want to show up and be there. So get healed. Separate that. I don't care if you have to fake. I've faked plenty of drop-offs. I've listened, and then when they love their parents, they're not understanding the drama between y'all. Of course, they're going to talk to you about him and him about, yes. And when they do that, I'm embracing, okay, well, that's lovely. That's nice. That's cool. Because if my child has experiences that, or my children have experience that will last them a lifetime with the men that created them, who am I? Who am I to take that away from them? Who are you as a mother to use your child or your children as a ploy? Like they're a piece on a Game Boy. But you don't realize it because you can't see through your hurt. You want him to suffer. You want him to hurt. for all of every sacrifice that you had to do for your children that they weren't there for. But baby, that's the bed that you made. That's the bed that you made. And when you understand that that's the bed that you made, you stop throwing your pity parties and your temper tantrums and your manipulations, and you simply let it flow. I'm the type of person, I'm like, big happy family. Come on in, we can all get along. But life has taught me I'm not compatible with everybody, so that's fine. But at the end of the day, even if we can't be a big happy family and take family trips together and do all these things together, respect is mandated. I respect them as the father, and I require them to respect me as a mother and as a wife not in their household. So you don't run my household and you can't tell anybody what to do over here that's grown. And that's it. When it comes to the kids, it's a mutual agreement. For the most part, if a child doesn't live in your household day to day, then, and if you're not building that type of relationship with them as a father, then no. But my kids, I think if I'm not mistaken, they talk to their dads like every day. Their dad every day. My ex-husband, they talk to him, if I'm not mistaken, every day. And they don't have to do that through me. I don't even check because at this point, that's their relationship. I'm here to be the intermediate when I need to be. You need me to meet you. You need me to, or if there's a situation that we actually have to discuss, I don't talk to the father of my children. I don't have to. And I have nothing against them in the essence of who they are. Our history is our history, though. I know that I have to communicate with my ex-husband a certain type of way. And I do that. I don't care to communicate if it's not peaceful. I don't obligate myself to that. But a lot of y'all are creating drama because you're trying to control situations that are dead. What is going on with the child? What does the child need? And as much as possible, stay out of the way. Just stay out of the way. Just stay out of the way. Because here's the thing. As a mother, nobody monitors how my relationship is with my kids. Nobody does that. Nobody's checking to see if I spent time with my kids on a daily. Nobody's putting me under a microscope as a mother. Why would I do that to the father of my children if he's showing up as a father, regardless if we're together or not? But we as women, we feel like we have the audacity, we have the right to try to just control things that literally we could be at peace about. We could literally be at peace about. Y'all want to control the time that they spend. Y'all want to control who's around the child. You want to control. And don't get me wrong. Of course, children's safety is always priority. But at the same time, you're not being micromanaged. Y'all couldn't dish half of the stuff that you put these fathers through. And then want to have the nerve to say, well, if he loved the child. And see, here's the thing. Here's the telltale sign between baby mamas and their lives. And I've seen this. I've seen this in several situations. You have a man that has fathered children with a woman or women, and they, whatever the situation is, that father doesn't see those children, but then he gets with a woman and he takes care of those children. A man that doesn't want children ain't finna take on his kids and nobody else's. Do you hear me? A man that doesn't want children, he's not going to take care of his child or nobody else's. So how dare we say, and how dare you, being the ear of the person that's spewing these lies, because we got to know that if this is still going on in our communities, we're not holding each other accountable. Point blank. If a man gets with a woman that has another child or other children, and he literally steps in and full-fledged 24/7 is father, baby, the issue ain't the fact that he don't want to be daddy. But we so emotional when our friends and families are listening to us. Oh yeah, my baby daddy did this and he ain't even showing up here and he ain't did this and he ain't did that. You don't even stop to think as a logical person to hear or consider the other side of the story. Cause I can't figure out, and the person like me is gonna ask questions. Okay, so he's over there with what you call? He got kids over there, and I'm scrolling and stalking and looking and seeing that he's real life with this other woman. Oh no, it's not the fact that he don't want to be a daddy. And I'm sure it has nothing to do with the child itself or the children themselves. So what does it have to do with it? I've heard, and it's made me mad. It has made me mad. I've heard a lot of men say, I'd rather not deal with that drama. And people will judge, and the first thing that they say, and I've heard this too, and I've had to correct a couple of people, and I've heard men say, I'd rather send my money and let it be. I'll talk to the kid when she's older, or they're older, or he's older. And we as women, as a community of women, have okayed this. And we've judged these men. Well, they should have fought harder. I was reading a status the other day, just last night, of this man where the mother moved the children to, I think it was Arizona or something, or somewhere like that. And all these comments, just fight, just fight, just fight. And then on top of those comments, I see other comments on, yeah, we've been in this battle for 7 years. We've been in this battle for 4 years. So while you're battling, what's being done in between? And why do we, as coppered people, need a system to tell us how to negotiate co-parenting? We don't see nothing wrong with it. I'm real serious. Like, we see nothing wrong. The first thing we say is, oh, well, take it to court. Take it to court. You can take it to court. And we never stop to think, why? And you judge a man that says, okay, I take accountability for the fact that I had this child. I chose not to stay with the mothers. This is what I have to deal with. Let me just take this, send the money, whatever, move on. And this is the last point that I'm going to make, and I'm going to be gone. Money. You don't want the daddy in the picture, but you want the money. This pisses me off when it comes to little girls in particular. Because if the only thing that you teach your daughter or daughters that a man is good for, or their father is good for, is money, you're raising a hoe. And you probably harm yourself. Either on the streets or just through life. Yeah. We got some issues. As women, we need to heal. And that's what I focus on, healing. I focus on healing the heart, because until you heal the heart, you can't make the decisions that you need to. I don't care how long it's been. I've had things that hurt me years ago that I had to heal through before I could develop into the peace and the Zoe and the everything that I bring and deliver. I had to heal, because I would have been just as boldly speaking on how all these baby daddies ain't nothing. I don't talk to men. Men are not my audience. Men are not my niche. I'm talking to you as a sister, as a mother, because we need a community of mothers for our children. Because it makes no sense when our families are divided over simple things such as, I don't like the way that you did that. Okay, and what does that have to do with building what I need to build with my child? As a woman, nobody is standing over you telling you what you can and cannot do with this child, however you want to do. And I had to think about it from my own end. My ex-husband, on a day-to-day basis, whatever happens to the kids' hair, it happens. Whatever they wear, they wear. Whatever they eat, they eat. For the most part, our day-to-day, he has nothing to do with, because it's not his household. And if he wanted to run me and the children in a household, we should have made better decisions. So I deal with that and he deals with that. There are boundaries. When it comes to the kids are the box. The kids are the kids are the line in the sand. I don't like the way he does this. He might not like the way I do this. Fine. Let's meet in the middle. Because it's about the kids. So we can meet in the middle about the kids and give the kids what they need. After the kids get what they need, we can both walk away. But if the kids are not getting what they need and we are intentionally as mothers fueling division, we are not doing what mothers are supposed to be doing. Years ago, last testament, this is really where I was going. I grew up, and this is why I'm very passionate about when I speak. I grew up, my father was an outside child. My granddad was married. I used to call it adultery, but now that I know it's not adultery, but he was married. And so my grandmother and my grandfather had an extramarital affair. I guess that's what it would be called now. So my father was a product of a relationship that was outside of the marriage. But to this day, if my grandma Love, because she gave me the platform, the open door, the invite to call her grandma, because she took in my father that was not biologically hers, that was created outside of her home, and she had kids by him already and was taking care of them. But from her to her mama, which we call Big Mama, to my grandma, his dad, his mom, I sat down in the room with all three of those women, and they could tell me stories and stories about Bill, my dad, and how he would do this and how he would run over Grandma Love house and do this. And they had pictures of my dad of those women made it work for that child. My dad knew his family. My dad had siblings that he created relationships with because those women decided. Was it easy? No. But whatever the issue is as women, you can talk it out, get through it. Half of the time, the women need to be more on the same page than the woman and the maid, than the mama and the daddy. You're the nurturer. You're the mother. There's no reason why we have women still fighting when there are kids involved and all of our kids are connected. When are we going to stop this foolishness? When? When you get healed. And when y'all as friends and family members stop upholding all this foolishness. When you can look somebody dead in their eye and say, when you gonna stop that? Stop keeping that man from his kids. Stop trying to control what that man do. The kid come back and drag bones back to your household from their household. Shut it up. If you're not gonna offer anything positive, shut it up. Say that's their household. You can take that back over there. If there's an issue, y'all talk that out over there. It can be simple when you heal and when you move out the way. Because it's not about you, it's about your child or your children. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. This is from a mother's heart. Nothing that their fathers did to me was ever horrible enough for me to ever say, you can't see your child. Unreasonable situations, I can work through that. Okay, well, that doesn't really work for me. What about this? But just a flat out, you ain't finna talk to your children? You ain't finna see your children? No. And if either of the children of my father say that I've intentionally kept them from their children, they would be bold-faced lying. And I will say that publicly. I'm saying that publicly. That would be a bold-faced lie. So if you've ever heard that about me, that is a bold-faced lie. The truth of the situation may have been it wasn't convenient, or it wasn't logical or reasonable, or whatever the situation may have been. But 9 times out of 10, there has never been a situation that couldn't have been worked through. I've showed up. Because one thing that I was taught and one thing that I stand on is, if he's showing up, if the man is showing up, I'm going to let him. Ain't got nothing to do with me and him. Ain't got nothing to do with whoever he's with. Whatever. I would love to have a relationship with women that come into their lives if that is necessary. But at the same time, I don't balance with a lot of people, and that's fine. But when it comes to the kids, it's not about me. If you're not disrespecting me, if you're not being just unreasonable, if you're not being selfish, if you're showing me that you want a relationship together for the sake of these kids, we can never talk another day outside of what it is when it comes to the kids. But if you show me that you're willing to meet me halfway for my kids, or any kids that come in my household or my husband's household, you're not going to get me fighting that, because the kids need that. So yeah, we gotta heal. Ask yourself, if I'm talking to you, sit down and ask yourself, what am I really angry about? Is it me? Is it really me? Is he really not, or is he really not trying to be here for his kids? Like, really ask yourself. Take yourself out of it and look at it from a bird's eye view and see if the father of your child or children has made any attempt to show up, and you've been the reason that he couldn't. I'm not finna sit here and tell my brothers, these kings sitting up here, it's so many men that's walking away from their kids nowadays, and you want me to sit here and tell a man to go to court to see his child. If you love your child, you need to fight for the best that you can. I'm not finna tell a man that. Not one. So, my sisters, what are we doing? What are we doing? We need to heal, and we need to understand that a man that is not a good man for you has nothing to do with the fact that he may be a good father. And regardless if there are other women in his life or not, that has nothing to do with you. Either you're going to merge in and be the most positive aspect of your children interacting with those women, or you just alleviate and don't worry about that altogether, but just stay out of the way. Do your job and stay out of the way. That's it. If you don't like him as a person, okay, that's cool, but you still got kids by him. Fake the funk, whatever. At one point you loved him, probably. At one point you even liked him enough to open your legs, probably. So, baby, it's the bed that you built. It's the bed that you made, or whatever it is that they say, sleep in it. This is your reality. If that man is not doing anything out of the way, or men, because in this we have multiple baby fathers, not judging, I have two, so whatever. No, if they're not doing anything intentionally wrong, not what you feel is wrong, not what you wouldn't have done, if they show up, let them show up. Let them show up. If there are real issues, you gotta get, people involved for custody, or of what they call monitor visits or monitor conversations. So if you that worried, then by all means, I'm not gonna touch that. I'm just gonna stay in the circle, in the box of y'all bitter, hurt, unhealed baby mamas ruining foundations and relationships and abusing your children by alienating them and ruining them and putting bad impressions of their fathers on their minds to dishonor them and rebel against them. We can't have that if we're trying to rebuild households, because it's the seed of rebellion. Once that seed of rebellion hits, it's there, and you're not going to be exempt from it. And Lord, don't let it be a little girl, because yeah, women, y'all know how we can get, but even worse, the boys, because once the boys don't have disrespect for their father, who are you? Who are you? Yeah. So appreciate y'all for hearing me out. Seriously, got mad love for kids overall, and that's ultimately at the end of the day, that's my only concern. It's the kids. I definitely thought this was gonna be about a 20-minute video, but it's 45, and I'm definitely about to end so I can get to with my family. But y'all be easy. Remember, this is recorded, so yeah, we just gotta have these kind of conversations. We gotta have these kind of conversations because our kids need better. Our kids deserve better. So until next time, be light, be peace, be love.